Hi, welcome back to Nerd Supernova Podcast. I'm your host, Paul Michaels, and today's going to be a little bit different. We're going to have my co-host be my friend. Why don't you introduce yourself?
AJ, hey Penny.
Hey Penny. We call him AJ. Not to be confused with my buddy KJ, who's also with us in the room, but he's kind of sticking out today because we're doing pretty much like an all DC retrospective on the CW shows, both Arrow and The Flash. I'm not fully caught up on the newer seasons. I'm like an episode behind on Flash right now. As of what is it? Today's the 20th of November 2015. Yeah, so I'm like an episode behind on Flash and a couple episodes of Arrow. Because, well, Laurel is being Laurel as always. But anyway, yeah,
she's terrible.
She really is. My buddy AJ, however, loves the DC universe pretty much as I do, and also religiously watches the CW shows as I have, more or less.
CBS shows.
The CBS. Oh God, the Supergirl. We can talk about that after if you really want to.
I'll tell you about that right afterwards because I know that you're not too familiar with it. So
yeah, I mean, I'm a little familiar with her as far as like comics maybe, but not necessarily just like that show. But okay, so pretty much what we're doing right now is we're just doing a retrospective of where both shows are, where they've gone, what they're about. Okay, first right off the bat, I think we should be honest because I feel like both shows put out a lot of effort. I just feel right now, and not even because it has a shorter run necessarily, but because I think the writing is so much better. But obviously, Flash is the much better TV show.
Without a doubt.
Yeah, without a doubt. I don't know, just like it's just really well constructed, and they have a lot of filler episodes. But like good filler episodes, it just adds more to the world and the mythology, and then they have a little bit of the side, the main plot that they throw in there at the very end, basically. So like I think that works towards the better story. Just making it a better show, like overall. I can't talk right now. Okay, so AJ, tell me in your words. I think you could say it better than I could when being nice about it, because I do enjoy the show Arrow, but I would say it's sort of kind of gone off the rails a bit, to say the least.
Oh
yeah. You tell me your biggest issues with the show, and I will either agree and or just bounce off you pretty much.
I felt it kind of went off the rails when they made every character a superhero. It's just like every character is up to Oliver Queen's level in fighting. Like sure he was abandoned on an island for five whole friggin' years.
Yeah.
But then all of a sudden Laurel Lance now is at that level, even though
I don't think she's at that level, but she's part of the team now.
She's trained by Wildcat. So she's supposed to be better.
I would understand if she was trained by the Wildcat of the actual comics, but the Wildcat...
They made him young.
No, well, the Wildcat in the show is, one, young. He's, like, around the same age as Laurel. Two, he's, like, a mediocre boxer at best. Like, the Wildcat that you and I know from the original JSA was, like, a prime fighter. Like, even in his old age, he was, like, one of the best fighters considered in the world, period, before he even became Wildcat. Like... That's not this guy.
No. I like Arrow. Really, I do. But
yeah.
I imagine him just like an older actor. Like even the guy that was in Stanley Kubrick's the guy that played the sergeant.
Wait, what do you What in
Full Metal Jacket? Like even if it was that guy as Wildcat, that would just make sense.
Oh! You're talking about Lee Arlie Emery that guy being Wildcat, if that was the case.
Yeah.
That would have been interesting.
Because Wildcat is supposed to be a guy in his 60s.
Yeah, he's like an old dude, but he's just a force of nature pretty much too. He's just like an old like
a guy that just uses his fists. Like he even helped train Batman, for crying out loud.
Yeah,
he has to be a guy that's at least 20 years older than Batman.
Yeah, he's intense, but yeah. Okay, so
and the guy that played Ra's al Ghul. I thought he did a great job. Just like up until like halfway through the third season,
yeah,
they They really plugged that out.
So the third season is Ra's al Ghul is the main villain. They've actually been building him up for a while, and I too like the guy's performance. I didn't expect to like Matt Navel as much as I did. He was great, but the writing.
He's done a lot of foreign films before that. Like I've seen him in a lot of weird, obscure stuff, and he actually had darker hair. But then he actually looks his age, and he looks like he could actually be Ra's al Ghul.
But in the show, it looks different. It's interesting.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Season 3...
And then Season 3, another thing that kind of irritated me that you mentioned, they pronounce it so many times, different times. It would be like Ra's al Ghul, or Ra's al Ghul, or ha-ha.
Honestly, at this point, I think both ways of saying it are correct. They're just... It's like tomato.
But pronounce it like one way. In Season 2, even before you even saw him, they pronounced it Ra's. But then Season 3, there was like 5 different pronunciations.
Yeah, I just hear it all as the same thing now. That was my least. I guess that's like a huge nitpick. Yeah, but to be honest, like I can see why you'd be annoyed, because at least like it's consistent in one universe as one way, and like consistent in another as another way. So like I get that. But yeah, pretty much with Season 3, it like peaked pretty much at for this overall season, it peaked at like the mid-season finale, and then it was just all downhill from there. I think, I agree with you though. I mean, to some extent, like every person is becoming like a superhero. That's understandable if it's like Roy becoming Red Arrow, because that's what he's kind of meant to be. But I mean, Laurel is meant to be Black Canary, but the Laurel lands in this universe is not how I see Black Canary. I see Sarah as more the version of what Black Canary is and was.
Absolutely.
You know? Yeah. And again, I think that's why they brought her back, which is great. But more to the point, like, I mean, you have Diggle being a hero now. Felicity's not a hero, but she's pretty much like the Oracle type deal going on there, where she's like in the Arrow Cave and doing whatever and helping everybody out.
When I first showed Diggle's helmet, I hated it.
I still don't like it. I think honestly,
I think it's a lot better in the show because they have more shade. But like when I first saw it, I was just like, why
I think honestly, if you had the same shape but you just had the visor down the whole time, it would have been fine. It would have looked okay, and I don't think people would have been pissed as much.
I thought they were gonna make him Guardian.
Guardian would have been awesome if they called him Guardian. I haven't watched. So I'm behind on Arrow 2 in the new season, the 4th season, but only as far as like I've gotten to the point where basically Laurel shows her dad resurrected Sarah, and at that point I'm just like, so basically, Arrow is an interesting show in the fact that it is a show I feel that tries really hard, but fails like hit or miss. But it's interesting. And the funny thing is that it keeps my interest, but two or three of the female characters drive me crazy. Like, Felicity is okay. I understand Felicity freaking out because she's a normal girl thrown into this world trying to make the most out of everything, pretty much. But then you have Thea and you have Laurel. And Thea is Oliver's sister in the show. I think she's made purely for the show. She later becomes like Red Arrow, while Roy will come back probably as Arsenal, I believe. Has he come back as Arsenal yet, or no?
No, he's not come back.
Yeah.
I'm actually looking forward to him coming back as Arsenal.
Yeah, he's going
the
to.
Arsenal that I knew the mid-90s when they had the miniseries. Like, that Arsenal actually used mainly guns, and they emphasized more him being a drug addict.
Yeah.
Like, I kind of want to see more of that and him being addicted to vertigo, if you will.
Yeah, like, there's a lot of cool stuff you could totally do with that. And you're I want to say this right now, you're really into, like, the 90s comics. That's what you grew up with. I grew up in the 90s of comics, but I myself got pretty much go all over, because when I got into comics it was like 2008, 2009. But yeah, I just grabbed from every story source that I could. But you really read comics in the 90s when they came out, and then you love to go back and relive it. But so let's go back to Thea here for a sec. So Thea actually got better. Thea like served a purpose, and pretty much just she went from being like a spoiled rich girl who would just cause problems for Oliver, and then actually like had character growth. And she still causes problems, but she is like a godsend now compared to like Laurel. Laurel,
just kill her off.
Yeah, they need to. They really need to.
I hope she dies.
Well, she's become. You and I use like Family Guy analogies all the time.
High school bullies, I want to die less than Laurel Lance, and Laurel's a fictional character.
I know. Well, she's become the Meg of the group. She's become like she's talking to them halfway through season 3, like bitching about stuff. And I want one of them to be like, Laurel, who let you back into the clubhouse? Like that's literally what she became. I mean, I was almost done with the show. I knew Oliver was going to come back either way. I knew he wasn't dead. But there was like a 3 or almost 4 week period where it was pretty much like the Laurel Lance show. And I was like, good God, like, no, like, we have to keep the arrow going. Yes, with you not in charge. Like, you stick by the... Go be a lawyer. You're a great lawyer when you're not having to see people get murdered, but you're a good lawyer. Be a lawyer. Help them out on the law side. Why are you fighting people? Like, I get that she's supposed to be Black Canary, but it's like, it's just like, have your sister be Black Canary in this universe, and have you just either die or be a lawyer and be useful for fucking once. And it's like, it's just aggravating, and I don't know, I mean, I don't want to blame the actress, because I saw her in Supernatural, and she's good in Supernatural and stuff like that, but this show, it's like, it just feels like she's doing something to, like, make sure the writers keep her in the show. It's like, and I feel bad for the actress.
Helping her to die.
They have to. Like
the first episode of Arrow this season, that gravestone.
It's please let it be her.
We're all thinking the same thing. Even casual fans of Arrow, they're all thinking the same thing. Please be Laurel.
Please be Laurel. And you know what?
It's gonna be Captain Lance.
It's either gonna be Captain Lance. It's gonna be a character we don't want to see die, or it's gonna be Laurel dying. And then at the end of that episode, she's going to be off in the trees somewhere looking at the gravestone with Ollie, and they're not going to see it.
It is Ollie.
Oh, it's just like a clone. No, that's
him looking at his own. But if you go back to Death of Superman, it could be.
I don't know. They would never. No.
Very outlandish.
That'd be hilarious, though. Barry's like, I'm sorry you had to see yourself die. Like, I've been there. It sucks. Like, I don't know. But, yeah, it's... Oh, man. Okay. That being said, the things I like about the show, I think they have good fight choreography. I think it's shot pretty well.
Excellent fight choreography. Like, best, easily best this year.
Yeah, I really enjoy.
I just wish it would keep up with the story.
Yeah, the problem with the show is that it has great characters and cool stuff. It's just the storyline is all over the place. Like season 1 was pretty good. Season 2 is where it started getting kind of crazy, but it wrapped itself up pretty well with Deathstroke and everything. And then season 3 was really great up until about the midway point, and then that's where things have just gone basically crazy. 4 right now is like okay, it's pretty solid. But still dealing with a lot of the craziness from beforehand, and like just kind of, again, it's always hit or miss. So the show keeps kind of it's kind of just like a constant marathon of my own in my own head of just like, you know, is it going to be good this week? Is it going to be shitty this week? Is it going to be like, are they just throwing darts at the wall this time? Like, Diggle Diggle's a superhero now? Like, I don't know. It's crazy, but I still enjoy the show on some level. At this point, it's just kind of like a ritual. So,
well, without spoiling anything for you, the Constantine crossover episode is what the season needed.
Yeah, honestly, I haven't seen the crossover episode yet, and I've heard it's great, and that's good because they were hinting at that for months about bringing Matt Ryan from the NBC Constantine show, making him part of the CW verse, and I'm like, either way, Matt Ryan or not, like the fact that they could just get Constantine in there and make use of him, fucking great. Yeah. And honestly, like, I like Damien Dark a lot right now. The actor, I know his name, Neil. Do you know?
Neil McDonough.
Yeah,
he actually
he's great.
Graduated from my high school.
I heard about that. Yeah, he's from Barnstable High, right? He is an awesome dude.
He plays an asshole in every movie.
More or less. Well, you know what?
He's the asshole in Walking Tall. Did you see Walking Tall?
Is that the one with the Rock?
Yes.
Okay.
And in the car at one point when the Rock pulls over, Neil McDonough, the woman from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was also in there too. So at some point, Hive and S.H.I.E.L.D. collaborated at one point.
Oh my God. Yeah. Well, okay. This guy, Neil, he is seriously like a great actor.
Oh, yeah, another side point before you
Yeah.
Neil McDonough also voiced Deadshot in the Batman.
Oh, in the Assault on Arkham, which is basically a Suicide Squad movie.
Yep.
See, that's awesome. I know that he's well. People would know.
So this is not his first piece of this.
Well, no, I wanted to say that because Dum Dum Dugan. I felt so bad for him because Dum Dum Dugan is a great character, and he got to be it in Captain America, the first movie, the first Avenger, and then they totally sideswiped all of the Commando World War II period so that Captain America could be with Avengers in the next movie. And I felt bad because the Commandos is an awesome concept that they could have done so many cool little stories with, but it's like, it's whatever. It's like, okay. He makes
they can't really do that because like they can't freeze everybody. Captain America's no.
No, but I'm saying like the Commandos can't come forward with him. That's what I'm saying. Like they sideswiped all the Commandos so that to fast forward Captain America in time. There's no World War II real movie. Like you basically get a montage sequence in the first Captain America film. We don't even get like a whole movie with just him and the Commandos being what they fucking were in World War II, which was Captain America and the Commandos. I don't know. Anyway, but like what I was saying is Neil McDonough was a cool Dum Dum Dugan. He had a very small part, but I knew him from a lot of other stuff, and I was like, it's awesome. I like Dum Dum Dugan, and he was cool in that. But him as Damien Dark is really cool. I like that his character has magic and shit, and it's just like I'm excited because now they're bringing magic into it, and like that's awesome because
that's the way it's really supposed to be later on. Like the first 3 seasons, they have it all serious. There's no powers, but then season 4 is either going to make or break Arrow and continuing. As I mentioned before, the Constantine episode really
needed.
Redeemed it.
That's great.
And then like the fact that they're having magic is absolutely wonderful. Like
yeah.
like I read a lot of the '90s Green Arrow when Connor took the mantle of Green Arrow.
Yeah, because there was a period of time where Green Arrow, Oliver Queen was dead, and his son Connor Hawke took the role for a while.
And Connor Hawke mainly took on magical opponents. So
yeah.
that brings like a lot of the '90s aspect into it.
Well, I like it too because it brings a different dynamic because he's always facing some crazy guy with like a sword or some shit like that or an army, and now he has to face something that he's never faced before. We just have to hope it doesn't get into like Silver Age territory where like, you know, he's like just running around not knowing where, you know, he's just he gets made to dance like a monkey or some shit. I don't know. I'm just assuming. But
that's Silver Age Justice League kind of shit.
Yeah, where they're all trees one episode or something like that, or they're I don't know.
It's just like they're all pieces of a chessboard now.
And the chess player is Stan Lee. No, I don't know. No, but
Greetings and Excelsior. We have Green Arrow. He has the power of arrows.
I love Stan Lee. I've always pictured him like again, Marvel.
If I were to ever direct, like this will never happen.
Yeah.
But if I were to ever direct a DC comic, I would just throw in Stan Lee just to fuck with people.
Yeah. No, you know what? I feel like DC fans would just get pissed off. They're like, he doesn't belong in this. Get it? And I'll be like, no,
I
Stan Lee.
think it would be great.
No, it'd be I'd love. No, you know, it'd be great if like they go. It's like a joke ending. Like they go and they try to find the main villain behind all their misery and woe of a Justice League movie, and they go to the villain who's been in a mask the whole time. They take it off, and it's Stan Lee, and he's like, "I had to make sure, I had to destroy all of you." No, but like I was making a joke. Like I love Marvel, but sometimes late at night I make jokes in my head about him. Like there's probably some place like where he goes in like his mansion and plays with DC figures like, I'll get you, Batman, or I know I'm gonna get away. They're just making jokes. Or they have him face...
He actually has a house in Osterville, so...
Yeah, you were telling me about that.
Yeah.
He lives around here or something like that. That's pretty sweet. That's probably how he was able to make Boston Comic Con without too much big effort. I don't know, I'm just going off. But so, okay, let's stop talking about Arrow for a sec and let's get on Flash, because we're talking about magic and all this other stuff, and really we should be getting into the mad science, because metahumans... A whole show about metahumans is just awesome. For those of you who don't know, metahuman is the term the DC uses for people with powers in the DC universe. Flash being one of them. Yeah, so I don't know where to begin with Flash, like where to start, and just saying just about...
It's easily my favorite show this year.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much... I mean, okay, the way I put this is, like, if you're into Marvel at all and you've watched, like, the Daredevil TV show, which is an amazing TV show, I say to other people, if you love that show, Flash is, like, the same coin, but the other side. It's very lighthearted, very comical, you know, very adventurous, and using superpowers instead of like, you know, man-on-man fighting, but it's got the same heart and soul as like what, you know, Daredevil, like how Daredevil was about the heart and soul of its comic, the same as can be said about Flash. Like it's just like an old Flash comic, but like done in the modern setting, in good characters, good stories, just so well paced. There's not much I can really say that's like negative. I mean, even Iris, his main love interest, you know, she gets a little bit whiny here and there, but even that has changed for the better. Like she's more useful in this second season now. Like she's not.
She's actually helping.
Oh, and she's a stronger character too. Like she has an arc, and she's better. Like everything in the show like improves if there's even any semi-negative aspects to it. Like the effects are better even. Like I mean, it's just. I mean, I don't. It's basically a perfect comic book show. That's more or less the best way I can describe it without overhyping it, I guess. I'll go to you. What do you like best about the Flash? Like what drew you in?
Well, with this season, I love how they're like finally they're acknowledging Earth 2 already.
Oh my
like
god!
In season 2, they're talking about Earth 2.
Yeah.
Like the cliffhanger that they left at the last episode of the first season. It totally blew Arrow's.
Anything Arrow ever did, like no, like you've never had Arrow running up a building into a black hole of doom. No.
Arrow season 3, that season finale was pure ass.
It was
mediocre.
mediocre.
But then the week after that, when they had the Flash season finale, so much mixed emotions in one, and like there's like barely any action for like the first 40 minutes. But he's just trying to collect his bearings, just like asking people like what he should do. Should he go back in time and save his mom? And everybody's telling him that he should, with the exception of his dad, who's in jail. He's just saying no. Like it doesn't matter that like I'm in jail right now, but this is what's going on. There's a natural order to things. I had a feeling Earth 2 would come into play, but like I had a feeling that. Barry Allen would be trapped in like Earth 2 himself,
right? Oh my god, dude!
But then he's bringing in Earth 2 characters. Like you had Atom Smasher, played by Adam Copeland, aka Edge, who did a fantastic job.
No, but dude,
Atom Smasher.
Dude, the best thing about it, man, is that it's not just true to the comics. All the characters, like. They look like their comic book counterparts. It's not even like, oh, this is like the new modern, like, gritty take on it. Like, no, they look like the comic book. And by definition, because Flash was such a success, Arrow got a little lighter in tone, too. Dark still, but lighter. He's Green Arrow now. He's no longer just Arrow. You know, like, it affected it for, like, the better. You know, like, I mean, don't get me wrong. I think some comic book movies and TV shows can be dark and gritty. Daredevil, great point place of like a good mix of good drama and good like grit. But then you have Flash, which is just so lighthearted and fun, but at the same time, it's still about people and it's still about everyone having an arc. But like for like the betterment of their character, becoming better people, dealing with their emotions and their issues and their troubles. You know, like but for the better. One of the greatest things I felt about the show, and this cannot go, okay, so every show, especially a show like Flash, has a comic relief, you know, like a comic relief character especially. And most shows that do that, it feels forced, and you hate every time that character comes up because you know he's going to make a goddamn joke, and you want that just that part of the episode to just end and get on to the next point. And that is not the case with Cisco Ramon, the character of Cisco Ramon. I don't know the name of the actor. I wish I did because I feel I'm an asshole for saying that I don't know the name.
Carlos Vasquez.
Yeah, I think he was on a bunch of other stuff. Glee maybe as well, just like Grant Gustin, but I don't know honestly for sure. I know the actress, not her name, but I know the actress plays Killer Frost or Caitlin Snow was in Sky High and stuff like that. And obviously, you know, the guy who plays Harrison Wells was in Scrubs. And I think Ed TV, and obviously, you know, the guy who plays Joe West, the detective, is the guy from Law and Order. Awesome dude. I know his name too. I just can't. I feel like an idiot. But anyway, okay. So Cisco Ramon, one of the best comic relief characters like ever in television. Because the only thing I can compare him to, I don't know if you've ever watched this show. Have you watched Avatar: The Last Airbender? Did you ever watch that show?
Yeah.
There's a character who's also just kind of like a serious character too, but he has laughable moments. Is this character called Sokka? He's like the brother. There's like a brother sister duo who are like friends of the main character, and Sokka always is like cracking. He makes bad jokes, but even like the way he says the bad jokes are funny. I don't know, but Cisco Ramon is the only thing that is like like that. Like even when you don't expect Cisco to make a joke, he does, and it pays off. Like it works. But Cisco is great because he is like the heart of the show in a way too. Like it's not just Barry. Like Barry can be serious a lot too because he's going through so much in the show with like his mother's death, and that happens at the beginning of the show. That's not like a huge spoiler, but like yeah, he just I don't know. He just there's something about it that just like he's the one that gives nicknames to all the characters like Captain Cold or Captain Boomerang or Reverse Flash. You know, and see. This is the thing. Like, I can feel like I can spoil Arrow, and what we said so far, it won't really spoil anything. Period. But I don't want to talk period about anything spoilerish about Flash right now, even though the first season's already kind of come and gone. Because the whole great thing about the Flash show is the story. Like the whole, I would say the Shakespearean take on the villain is amazing. Would you disagree or agree or?
I
mean, without spoilers, too much.
Dude, it's not spoiling much for anyone because we still don't know who Zoom is. Like Reverse Flash, there's like 5 different versions of Reverse Flash.
That's
like 5
true.
Different people.
That's true because in the comics,
there's also 3 different people that Zoom, so you don't know who.
You don't know what's going to happen. But I loved what they did with Reverse Flash in season 1, and by comparison, it's almost so good you can't really follow it up with like a great. Villain after that. I mean, don't get me wrong.
They did.
Well, no, they do. I like Zoom a lot. But here's the thing. Like, some people would even say Captain Cold is his like main villain, but it's Reverse Flash because like it's interesting. Like Kevin Smith was talking about the Flash show, and he said, and I agree, like there's really no villain better suited for a opposite type than Reverse Flash because even Joker and Batman. Like what's the opposite of a bat? A clown, like that, like and that's the joke he made, and I agree with him. Like that's how it is. But like Reverse Flash literally is Barry has all the same powers, but uses it for his own means and hurts everybody in his path for his own personal gain, which is what Barry does not never does. Barry could use time travel for his own personal gain. He could do, he could
save his mom.
Yeah, but. He doesn't choose to do that. He chooses to benefit others and help people. Reverse Flash is the opposite of that, and it's just like I don't know. Everything about that first season is great. But let's talk about Earth 2 because you're right. What I love is I thought we would
steampunk feel Earth 2.
It is because it's like the 1950s almost never died. And there's some things that like remain from it that are in like the new era. It's like almost kind of like a Fallout future, not without the Fallout, but like where their type of world is like 1950s that never basically died, and like they're all happy and kind of giddy. But they have advanced technology, but there's some aspect of the 50s that was different for them than it was for us. Like it wasn't like there was some huge rebellion to like make. Like it's like the hippie.
It was a huge rebellion. It was the war that made the Americas. Which is where Jay Garrick got his hat.
Oh my god! But so yeah, I don't know what else to really say. Jay Garrick. The fact that we got Jay Garrick already in the multiverse season, I thought we would have to at least wait till season 3, but we got him season 2. Like that's incredible. And already all the iconic moments. You filmed it like them picking up the girl, doing that, making the iconic cover from the first time we see the appearance of the multiverse. Which DC,
I need to do that for one of my own comedy shows.
Yeah, dude, like
make a poster like that because the last poster that we made was Green Lantern issue number 49 from '93 when he had all the rings.
I should just say that you're a comedian and you love comics and you've made your posters like. Recently, like comic book covers, and you've made them, and you had it being. There's this arc in the '90s where a parasite villain called Parallax takes over Hal Jordan's mind. He goes crazy, and he kills a bunch of Green Lanterns, and he kills a bunch of Guardians. And there's this great iconic cover where he's just like a crazy wild man, and he's got all like these Green Lantern rings all over his fingers, and he's just like has his hands stretched out like in a menacing type of pose, and he's just like laughing, and it's just insane. And you had that randomly as a poster for a comedy show, and I just think that's hilarious.
Comics love comics.
Yeah.
It just makes sense.
Sure. We'll go with that.
You're gonna call the company Paperback Comics, but then that would just be confusing, so I just call it Paperback Comedians instead.
That's fair.
And then, back to what you're saying with the Flash cover of just like the Flash from the Two Worlds, just like running side by side with a brick wall. I geeked the fuck out.
Yeah, man. Well,
amazing one.
Well, honestly, too, like the multiverse and time travel are two of the Flash's like biggest superpowers, pretty much. Like the Flash. Okay, the way I put it in the way that the heroes are like the biggest DC heroes in the DC universe and how they affect them. I see like DC Universe being like a giant castle. I see Superman and Wonder Woman being like the head, like knights at the front, like guarding the castle. I see Batman, ironically, holding a gun, but being like the sniper, like checking out and looking for like the weak points, making sure no one gets through them. And then there's Flash. And what Flash is the guy who's outside, but because of his ability, he's able to just circle the whole castle all the time, doing his cool stuff, and just like he's always watching and keeping the castle intact because he's making sure no enemies get to it in time. But if they do, there's always Superman and Batman and everybody to like still guard it. But he is people who don't know, I feel like people do know, but Barry Allen saved the DC universe in Crisis on Infinite Earths. He used the cosmic treadmill to save time and space, and from what I've heard, he transmorphs back into a lightning bolt that helps create himself. It like completes a circle of his story, basically. And then later he's brought back in Flash Rebirth because heroes always come back. But I cannot say enough about Jeff Johns because I feel like the Flash show is only half as good as it is because he's behind it. His favorite superhero of all time is the Flash, and he is a huge Flash fanatic. He loves the Flash, and because the same showrunners are behind it, who do Supergirl and Arrow and whatnot. But I feel like Jeff Johns gives it that special kick. He's the Brian Michael Bendis of DC. He's the chief creative officer. He's behind all the movies now. He's trying to do his best to make everything that we love and care for.
And make sure Green Lantern movie is right.
Is right this time. I think he was involved.
Movie that's coming out 4 years ago.
Yeah, he was involved in the Ryan Reynolds one, but I think that was a thing of power struggle. And I think Warner Brothers realized, oh wait, when Marvel was allowed to do what they wanted, they were able to make amazing movies and let appease the fans and make money from it. Maybe
Marvel decided that right after Daredevil.
Yeah, well, pretty much the Marvel had got sick and tired of doing all that shit, and they made their own studio, and they had to work around getting all their stuff. Thankfully, like with Daredevil and Punisher and Ghost Rider, like those copyrights ended it. Was it Fox? I guess Fox. And then they were able to get those characters back. Thank God. They're still. Oh man, Fox is living in a fantasy world if they really think that the Fantastic Four 2 is gonna go off the shelves.
Absolutely not. They are so fucking lucky that they brought back Bryan Singer
to do X-Men.
Because it's literally my favorite storyline. My next comedians cover, the one for March, which E.J. Edmonds is going to headline. I'm going to dress him up like Wolverine, and it's going to be like the cover of the background, just like Magneto slain, Wolverine still at large.
It's going to have the Days of Future Past type thing. Yeah. Well, honestly, it was great because they had Matthew Vaughn come to do the first movie and Bryan Singer like producing it. But yeah, they realized after the bomb. Well, not to say bombs.
You realize what the entire premise of Days of Future Past was.
Do you mean as a comic or a film?
No, as a film, so they could go back in time.
Oh yeah,
that X-Men 3 never happened.
Never happened, or X-Men Origins Wolverine for that matter. Though Deadpool will bring it up as a joke in his movie, which will be amazing. All right, sorry, we're going too much into Marvel. We need to reel back in.
We'll do a Marvel one.
Yeah, we'll definitely do Marvel at some point. We need to reel back in here. So, okay, so season 2, Barry opens up the multiverse. Earth 2, Jay Garrick comes over. They have a cool time, but Zoom, his character Zoom, has been in Earth 2, sending out other versions of other people trying to kill Barry, who are villains as well. And like now, who do you theorize that Zoom is? Like, do you think they're going to go Hunter Zolomon? Do you think he's going to be a character we've already met?
I think. All right. First, I'm going to talk what my roommates think, because with the exception of like maybe one, all my roommates watch Flash. My roommate Matt, he thinks that it's going to be Barry's dad.
Okay.
And then,
but Earth 2 Barry's dad, right?
No, like this Barry's.
Do you think it's going to be this Barry's dad?
This Barry's
that would be really fucking dark and hard.
Oh, that'd be pretty fucking hard.
Yeah.
Just like his Electron kind of makes sense that like he's trying to push him to be a better Flash.
Maybe by crippling him.
If you saw the last episode, it would make a little more sense.
Okay.
And then my roommate called because he recently bought the Flash Futures End, which like 2014 they came out with a bunch of future ends. And then he thinks that it is David West, which is Iris's uncle. Iris's and Wally West's uncle.
Okay.
And I personally think that it is going to be Eddie Thawne.
Eddie, yeah. So, yeah. Okay. So I'm in agreement with the Barry's dad, but I think it's going to be Barry's dad from Earth 2. Because it's a different world, so he's going to see his dad and it's going to fuck with his head. Because it's already fucking with his head that he's seeing Earth 2 Harrison Wells, who doesn't have any relation to the other Harrison Wells of the first. We'll talk more about that later.
Another interesting theory.
Yeah.
My childhood best friend Dan believes that Zoom is going to be future Barry Allen.
That'd be even more fucked up. But okay, so let's go on the Eddie theory. I can't go too much into it without going even more into spoilers and about secret identities and stuff, but if it's Eddie, that would be amazing because it would explain like how he comes out of like basically nowhere and tortures and hurts everybody. And oh my god, because he wants to be the hero.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man, I don't know. I love it though.
It's a little bit of a redemption because his great grandson, Eobard Thawne, was saying just. Yeah, literally every Thawne was important except you.
Yeah.
A piece of shit cop that ate donuts and just like farted in people's mouths.
I don't think he uses those exact words, but
that's the way I remember it. But just you.
All right.
Back to what you said. He wants to be a hero. Just like that's my theory.
But maybe he learned he couldn't be the hero, so he went the opposite direction.
It's gonna be Eddie Thawne. I first did like the future Barry Allen one because that's kind of what like Jeff Johns' Flash.
Well, think about it too, because I totally can agree with you being future Barry Allen. Like he messes up because of what he did in the end of the first season. It affects the future version, and it like messes up time again, and then that future Barry comes back in time to do all this crazy stuff, and then he has to stop himself or something, Yeah. But that's just a cool idea, I think. And granted, with the idea of time travel and whatnot.
Who are you calling it? Just as one, who are you calling it? Again, you calling Hunter Zolomon as it?
I will say this. I think Earth 2 Barry's dad.
They left it so wide open because they didn't call him Professor Zoom. They call it just Zoom.
Zoom. Yeah, well, I always like just the idea of Zoom because Professor Zoom's like too much. It's like Zoom is just because it's not like scientist Flash. It's just Flash. Like so, Zoom for me seems more smooth. I don't know. I think they're gonna do Earth 2 Barry's dad. If not, they'll do Eddie. Or they could just do something entirely out of left field.
You gotta call one, just one. Right
I'm just saying it could be one of those three. I'm gonna go with Eddie Thawne, I guess, because that would bring it like it would just be really fucked up and it would be really cool. But I'm probably gonna go Earth 2 Barry's dad if not that.
Yeah. I like it. So like winner buys DJ's wings.
Okay, man. Well, I'll see you in like 2 months when they're done with the show and we don't remember anything about making the bet. No, okay.
Because you haven't recorded.
I have it recorded now, so it's on record.
I'm gonna remember this bet. I remember this.
You know what's gonna happen, man? It's not gonna be any of it. It's gonna be like Hunter Zolomon. We're both gonna be wrong, and we'll just be like, we'll call it a tie.
It'd be cool either way. Like literally all options that were laid out would be
yeah, amazing. Like there's really like only way it could really suck is if he takes off the mask and it's like Earth 2 Laurel. Like no! No! Don't bring Laurel into the Flash! Get her out of here! Get her out! That's the only.
That's the point that I quit comic books.
That's the only way they could ruin it. If it's Earth 2 Laurel or some shit like that.
It's just like like the moment that Bane was my favorite supervillain in the 90s, because that's what I grew up on, was Batman Nightfall. And the movie Batman and Robin ruined it for me. That I didn't read comic books for 4 years.
Like, it's still not 100% comic book accurate, but thank God for Dark Knight Rises and that interpretation, because that was such a cool
like that
thing.
Interpretation. It's very different. Very different.
And I mean, the voice is hilarious, but I like it. I think he's a cool character, and he has an eccentric quality about him, which
it's a fun voice to do.
It is.
Like people.
But you know.
We already adopted the dog, but I was born in it.
Murdered by it. Like it's just it's so
fun. Is more people do that than they did Joker.
Almost. I would say it was about even.
Literally every. Say what you will about Bane's voice, whether you think it's like funny, intimidating, whatever. This is something you can't deny. Literally every line he does is quotable.
It is.
You can't say that about the Joker. Most of his lines are quotable, but every single line in that movie
that he does, people
quotable.
Yeah, like really, even the fucking thing he says, like when they bring Gordon, he's like, "Why are you here?" And it's like, and he's like, "I wasn't talking to you." Like, it's just, I hope that goes through on the microphone. Like, but yeah, like that's fucking Bane,
like,
man.
even when he's in the stock exchange, like, there's no money. He's like, oh, really? Then why are you people here?
Exactly. Like, I loved Bane. Like, I mean, yeah, he's a bit thrown under the bus there at the end, but at the same time, he's great throughout pretty much the whole movie. Even when he's like left behind as the henchman, he's like basically, he says the line, but I can't quote it off the top of my head. But I know he says like, "We both know that I'm not going to let you live. I'm going to kill you right here, right now. Like, I'm not going to let you see the fire. I'm going to kill you. Like, I'm not stupid like she is." Yeah, I thought it was great. So, okay, so you and I both have our best bets placed for Flash at the end of season 2. I will catch up again on Arrow. Watch the Constantine episode. I can't wait till Brandon Routh returns as the Atom. I think that'll be great. I just think.
One other. Back to Arrow for just a full minute. Another redeeming factor: Arrow season 4. Brandon Routh as Ray Palmer.
Yeah,
that's the best role he's ever done. Better than his charisma that he brings to Ray Palmer.
Every time Ray Palmer was on the screen, it made up for anything Laurel type related during season 3.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
Because Superman's supposed to have a lot of charisma. He didn't bring that charisma as Superman.
I don't feel like. Well, I mean, I don't blame Bryan Singer or necessarily Brandon Routh for
continuing returns, but like, trying to do.
Yeah. It was just a script. Superman is so hard to write for. That's the problem, is that you have to give him a compelling villain, you have to give him a compelling story, and it's hard when he's a bulletproof alien that can fly around saving everybody all the time. And that's hard. That's why I've read a lot of good Superman comics, but he's a hard character to adapt and make. Even not everyone loved Man of Steel either. I loved Man of Steel, but not everybody did, you know? But no, I think him as Ray Palmer, Brandon Routh as Ray Palmer is great, and I can't wait to see more of him.
They originally wanted to, before season 3, they were originally going to have a Ted Kord.
I remember. Well, they mentioned Ted Kord several times. I feel like he's going to come up eventually. He has to pop up.
Ted Kord's going to, but they were thinking season 3, Ted Kord is going to buy out. Queen Consolidated.
That's fair.
But that turned out to be Ray Palmer instead. Which
that's whatever. That's fine.
Down the line, made a little more sense that it was Ray Palmer.
Yeah, and I think they could still do Ted Kord because you have Flash and you have the Flash movie thing coming out.
They
So
can't do anything more with Stag Industries because they killed off Stag
yeah,
in season 1 of Flash,
yeah, and not even that.
which I felt was a shame.
Well, I mean, it's part of the show, I guess. But at the same time, like, yeah, I think they're going to do more with Ted Kord. Definitely Booster Gold. If they don't do it, like, they're going to do something with either a movie or a TV show. They have to do Booster Gold and Ted Kord because they make it great.
They're going to do a Netflix
show,
and then have a Ted Kord and Booster Gold show.
I'd be amazed. I mean, they're going everywhere. They're going almost to every network at some point now. Everyone kind of wants it all in the CW just because people love Arrow and people adore Flash, but I want at least one coherent universe. They don't have to be connected to the movies, but if I was Diane Nelson right now, who is in charge of all DC Entertainment pretty much, if I were her and I was smart, I would say to her, you don't need to connect both universes. You're doing something different than Marvel, I understand, but go and beat them to the punch and reveal a huge multiverse. Not just in Flash. I mean, like, literally, like, the movies can be their own universe, and then have, like, Ezra Miller as Flash, movie Flash, meet up with TV Flash in one episode, and make a point that they're aware of each other, and that they're different universes, but they're aware of each other.
Miller actually made a point when in an interview. He's just like Grant Gustin. He like we're like he's like I'm like a Earth 4 Flash, and he's like a Prime Earth.
Yeah.
And it's just like, and he even said just like we should meet each other in one point. Just like, do you honestly know how awesome that would be,
dude?
So
and
he's
I was skeptical about him. Like, I haven't seen anything about him being like Flash, like in costume or anything.
He's a good actor. I think he was good. You're good.
No, he's great in Perks of Being a Wallflower. I haven't seen. We need to talk about Kevin, but he's supposed to be really good in that movie. That being said, I've seen a lot of his interviews with the Flash and talking about DC. Dude, he is a fan. He's a fan. Yeah. And he's so excited when he talks to Zack Snyder about this stuff, which makes me excited because it shows that they're both fanboys and they want to make a DC movie that you and I have been looking forward to for years since we were kids. And, like, that's exciting to me. But I'm saying to Diane Nelson, make a point of saying that it's all one giant multiverse. You have Gotham being in one universe. You have Arrow and Flash being another universe. You have a Smallville being another universe. And then that way, if they ever do a Crisis movie, you could just have, like, a 20-minute segment of the CW verse being affected by the Crisis, and it would be amazing, and people would be so happy because they could there'd be some small payoff. It wouldn't just be like what Marvel does with Jessica Jones and Daredevil being in the same universe as, like, the Avengers, and that's cool too, and that's what they're building up to. But instead, DC will be...
It's a smart move for them to do it all
in one, because that's what Marvel is about anyway. They do the multiverse in Marvel, but not as much as DC does. DC lives in the multiverse in the comics. But that's what I'm saying, like, DC can one-up Marvel and be like, no, you have a one universe, that's great. We have a giant multiverse, and that's what we're doing. We're letting all artists and writers and whatever do whatever the fuck they want. Just go crazy, do your versions, and they all know each other, and it's awesome. Sorry.
Speaking of multiverse, I'm going to spoil one small Easter egg.
Of Flash?
Of
Arrow, that's fine.
I'm going to spoil one, but in the news report, none of my roommates noticed it. Not even my girlfriend noticed it, but I noticed. Like, the Earth 2 news, it just like, finally revealed that Robert Queen was actually the Arrow.
I saw that, and I did notice that. In Earth 2, it's not Ollie, it's his dad who survived the island and became the Arrow instead.
Did you... I felt a connection to almost Earth 2 Batman in a way, in which, like, there's an alternate universe in Flashpoint in which Bruce Wayne dies, but then Thomas Wayne becomes Batman. I felt they did that exact
same thing with this. Instead, he becomes the Arrow because of what he has to go through. I'm just laughing.
I'm hoping that they tease an episode. I would just die if they did this. They shouldn't do it, but I would love it if they did.
You know what they should do?
If they did. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I think you're not on the same thought. I think they're going to do an episode where they do a Flash Arrow crossover, and Earth 2, his dad is going to come through, and he's going to see Ollie, and Ollie's going to get to kind of say goodbye to his dad in a sense. like that he never got to because the last time he saw his dad was okay, bye, son. Oh, Dad! And that was it. And, like,
I think they should kind of do it. I don't think they should ever meet face to face ever.
I don't know. I think
I would love it if they did.
Okay.
Don't get me wrong. I'd love it if they did. I don't think that they should. I think it should end the same way with Flashpoint with Batman. Like,
he gets he writes a letter.
Yes,
and he gets the letter and he
and
cries.
Because
that's what they're doing.
This is my father's handwriting.
They're making him like they're trying to make Ollie basically Batman with Ra's al Ghul and all this other stuff happening. But
at least 40% of the villains are Batman villains.
Yeah, just expect. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, again, I like Arrow. I don't love it.
Oh,
but
and like at least 20% of them are Teen Titan villains. Like
yeah,
Deathstroke.
Teen Titans.
Teen Titans. And Damien Dark Teen Titans.
It cannot be expressed enough to what like Marv Wolfman did in the 80s with DC, like re-establishing the Teen Titans, writing Crisis on Infinite Earths. He did so much, and he's a co-creator of Deathstroke. Like, that's awesome.
Deathstroke, easily one of my favorite characters ever.
Yeah, and if we didn't have Deathstroke, this is for Marvel fans, we wouldn't have Wade Wilson Deadpool.
Yeah, and they even admit that.
Yeah. Both of them, like it's great.
And in a way, Deadpool surpassed like what they were a parody.
Yeah, like they parodied satire Deathstroke, but then they took it.
Like how many times can you say that like the parody did better than the original?
Yeah, in a lot of ways. Well, Deathstroke's come a long way too. Like he is prominent with the Teen Titans series.
Deathstroke's kind of like a cult favorite because of.
In a way,
Deadpool,
I became a Deathstroke fan from the Teen Titans TV series way back. You know, like the anime style. Not the Teen Titans Go, obviously, but like that first version.
Fuck that show.
I know, fuck Teen Titans Go. I'm sorry, DC, but fuck that show. Bring back Young Justice, please. So I will say this
Young
about
Justice was too dark for kids. That's why.
Well, it was like yes and no. It was not the same level as like the old Justice League show. I mean,
I would say like Young Justice was way darker.
In a lot of ways. In some ways, I mean,
way darker. Connor L was trying to connect with Superman, but it just wasn't happening. Just like a kid, like begging for like a father's attention. That is fucking dark.
Yeah, man.
So like that's what made it darker than Justice League.
Yeah, it's
and it was better animation than Justice League as well.
Well, I mean, you know, they improved over that time. So yeah, I mean, look, I think they should just do one more season, wrap everything up, and just make us happy. That's what, or at least do a movie or something. I don't know.
Well, maybe like a Netflix thing. It's so hard to do a Netflix thing these days.
Well, yeah, I mean, I understand. There was no, I just want to put a thought in here.
That show was more Young Justice was more popular with adults than it was for kids.
Yeah,
which is why ultimately.
Well, the problem is, and like fucking Marvel actually took care of this years ago. They bought like a toy company, Toy Biz, so none of their TV properties or movie properties are controlled by toy sales. Which is what the problem was with the Green Lantern show and the Teen Titan or the Young Justice show, because the toys weren't selling enough, so they canceled them. And it's like, really? Like, who cares? Like, just make a good show. Like, the DVDs will sell. What do you like? Really? Like, at this day and age, like, we have enough of adult audience and people watching online. Like, it's not dictated anymore by the old rating systems or like kids buying toys anymore. But okay.
Because kids all have tablets now. Like my girlfriend has 2 kids. They don't play with toys. They play with tablets.
Yeah, but still, like, I mean, kids can still play with action figures. But even now, like, you and I collect action figures, but we don't play with them. We just put them up on a shelf and look at them.
Yeah, like jerks.
And
it's like that Star Wars commercial. The kid going through and just like, Dad, why are all these toys? These toys are not for playing. And they're like, they have the macaroni and cheese. They're just like. So wait, there's macaroni and cheese you can't eat and toys you can't play with? This is a room full of lies!
Pretty much. Like, yeah, we're becoming the Will Ferrell dad from the Lego movie, let's be honest.
Yeah, and we're just gonna glue everything.
We're gonna glue everything to the wall and like, no, son. You stay over there in the corner and you don't play with any of this. Like, yeah. Okay, so I want to say on a note, because I want to just be clear. I do like the show Arrow. If some people think I'm shitting on the show, I'm not. Like, it has its issues, but I do like the show. And I want to say for the record, I love the fact that Arrow exists, because without Arrow and its success, we never would have got Flash off the ground. They never would have built an audience to try and experiment in getting the Flash made the way that it's been done. And honestly, like, that's worth it enough for me to have Arrow and all of the Laurelisms and whatever else that show throws that I have a hard time with. But yeah, we're pretty much going towards an hour here at this point. Do you have any closing thoughts? I mean, we've pretty much went over everything as far as the CW shows are concerned.
I'm good to go. I'll wait until next time I'm on.
Yeah.
See the first couple episodes of Supergirl. I'm watching Supergirl right now. Just
Supergirl.
Because,
I haven't seen anything of Supergirl, so I don't know anything about.
But just a couple quick things. Supergirl is living in this place called National City, which is almost like a fictional, like how Starlight City was.
Well, they never have any real cities in the DC universe. Like they're aware of other cities now, like New York and stuff, but they always take place in fake cities because you want to give the artists and writers just. Okay, here's a random warehouse. Where is it? It's a national city.
Yeah.
Good luck.
So the premise is Supergirl, Kara Danvers is living in a fictional city. Like she almost has like a similar job as a Clark Kent, except she's a secretary, but like working for a newspaper.
Yeah.
Like Toyman, who's actually before he becomes Toyman, is actually one of her best friends. That actually helps create her costume, and then Jimmy Olsen, who's no longer a nerd,
is a giant athletic black man.
Is a sexy black man. But like he keeps a lot of that Jimmy Olsen aspect. Like he still has the watch with like the Superman thing that he presses when he calls in trouble, and he still gets scared about that and presses that.
I want to say one thing about Jimmy Olsen, because I love Jimmy Olsen, but I made a joke to my friend that if you ever got sucked into the comic books by some sort of freakazoid type deal where you're just thrown in there and you're trying to find what version of like the DC universe that you're in, because again they love the multiverse, I would say go and find Jimmy Olsen, because you will know where you are by the Jimmy Olsen. Because once you find that Jimmy Olsen, you'll know the universe, because every version has a different take on Jimmy Olsen. Like even the Justice League Gods and Monsters that came out, they showed Jimmy Olsen for 2 seconds, and he's like a hippie with like tribal tattoos, and he's hunting in the office. And they find him and they kill him or something, but like that right there, like every version of him is different. Or
but every version is different. But it's I would argue that, but like looks wise,
yeah,
a lot of the personality.
Oh no, the personality is there.
Is the same. Sure, he's now a sexy black man, if you will, but like deep down, he's still like this scared guy that like calls to Superman like whenever
Supergirl
whenever he's in trouble. Like Jimmy Olsen and Supergirl were arguing at one point. It's just like, why did you call Superman to come save me? He's like, all right, the reason why I moved out of Metropolis, and which is why I moved to National City, is because I was too dependent on Superman. This is a big athletic dude saying I was too dependent on another person, so I moved here so I could be dependent on myself.
So can I ask you a question? Because again, I haven't seen any of this show, but I've heard complaints and stuff. How is Superman represented and shown in the show? Like they call him my cousin or my other this. They don't actually even say Superman at some point until later, I guess. Or
they try to have like a different thing. They either say Clark or Superman or my cousin. They try to mix it up a little bit, and you can see the cape. You'll never see his face. They have it off screen. You're probably not gonna see, if the show actually lasts 3 seasons. You're probably not gonna even see his face until like the 3rd season. But I like how they're doing it, having him off, so it kind of takes like the focus away from that and still keep it on Supergirl herself.
Yeah.
The guy that plays Maxwell Lord in it.
Yeah, that's awesome that they got Maxwell Lord.
Just like the way that I imagined Maxwell Lord as a kid being like the leader of the Justice League brought to life. They did a fantastic job with Maxwell Lord.
Okay.
Like easily, and then like you were mentioning the Flash. Like the Flash's Harrison Wells is Hank Henshaw, and as you know, Hank Henshaw is Cyborg Superman. Yeah. And I'm thinking, okay, this is clearly before he became Cyborg Superman. But then as I'm sure you'll see, like even in the trailers, his eyes light up red at one point. I just don't know how to feel
I'm
wondering if they have like the Fantastic Four-esque gone wrong origin story.
I don't know. There's a lot of comic book jargon out there. People don't know.
In episode 4, they bring Livewire to life.
I've heard Livewire's in the show.
And they did such a good job with Livewire. I thought it was absolutely great. Like obviously it's not Laura Petty as Livewire, but like the actress that that does Livewire does a pretty fantastic job.
How does she look? Does she have like the spiked hair, or is it like long hair, or what?
It's kind of like it's a longer hair, but it's like not the same outfit, but definitely the attitude that you would expect and hope for.
Okay.
And just like Livewire is not a complete piece of shit person, but just like, hey,
she has issues.
I demand satisfaction, which is what a villain should be.
A villain, well, see, the best villains are ones, even though if they're sociopathic or psychotic, they're always the ones who don't think that they're the villain.
Sinestro, for one, which is why
Sinestro is a great villain. Yeah.
I barely even consider him though. Like the only comic book subscription that I currently have right now is the Sinestro book.
Sinestro Corps. Yeah, that's right. Sinestro Corps has his own book now.
No, it's just Sinestro. It's
just Sinestro, just him.
It's just him. Like it's the first time he's had his own series.
Who's actually writing the series though? Do you know?
No, it's not John's. Danthers, I think it is.
Danthers. I'm not sure if you know him, but okay.
But it's good.
But that makes sense because Sinestro is a cool big villain, and people. It's really funny because anybody who reads Green Lantern, and I think most people agree with this, is that the biggest flaw with the Green Lantern Corps is that the Guardians who control them or run the whole organization
have no emotion.
They have no emotion in their dicks. They're just a bunch of dicks, and they're so bad at their jobs. They made an inferior corps that still is like running around the universe causing issues for the Lanterns and everybody else that the Lanterns still have to kind of put down more or less, like these Manhunters, not related to Martian Manhunter, but still a bunch of rogue robots. They pretty much are the reason why Sinestro is Sinestro, because Sinestro just got tired of their bullshit, and he's like, He's like pretty much did like a Bender move, like I'm gonna make my own corps. It's gonna have blackjack and hookers and and that.
Forget the corps.
Pretty much, but that's primarily what I feel happened in a lot of ways. I mean, again, I need to definitely brush up on my Green Lantern lore for.
And I'm sure you read the Wrath of the First Lantern already.
I have a general idea. I'm still getting very much into it.
When Sinestro and Atrocitus were just killing all the original Guardians.
Oh my god!
It just made me so happy.
I'm just okay.
Did away with them.
You would I know in the New 52 he kills the Guardians and stuff like that. I read that book because that was by Jeff Johns, and I'm trying to keep up with all the Jeff Johns Green Lantern. But I know the New 52 is like a new thing, but there's in the original continuity before the reboot and stuff, I don't know. I feel like I don't know. I know there's retcons of stuff and whatnot, but I feel like the Guardians die several times. So they get brought back to life. Are there new Guardians that just show up, or
all the Guardians are dead? Like that's why they have the comic book series Green Lantern New Guardians.
Okay.
Which follows Kyle Rayner as the White Lantern.
Yeah.
And then the new Guardians just trying to mentor him. And at that time, they just have Hal Jordan as leader of all the Lanterns, while the new Guardians are trying to mentor Kyle Rayner.
Okay. Yeah, because honestly, the Guardians, they're just dicks.
Like, who better to lead all the Lanterns than Hal Jordan, who's just started from...
Who is a hothead, sometimes crazy person that murdered a bunch of... No, I'm kidding. Yeah. But, I don't know.
He didn't really murder all those people, because they later became the Lost Lanterns. All the people that he took, the rings from, were they were in the Sinestro Corps War.
Oh, alright.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. I need to, like I said, I need to brush way more up on my Green Lantern Corps.
Green Lantern is absolutely my favorite thing.
No, you've told me, and you told me that. I mean, Green Lantern's like your favorite. Period.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good, man. Honestly, I feel Green Lantern. I think the movie crushed the fan base a bit for sure, but yeah, Green Lantern does not get enough love as I mean, not as like some there's some DC heroes that I think Animal Man does not get enough love. But, yeah.
Okay, so I literally own 500 comic books. I don't know shit about Animal Man. I bought Justice League Europe, Like why the Justice League had a
Here's
hero from
okay.
the
Well,
first
well
place.
here's what I'm gonna tell you what to do because I haven't read the New 52 stuff, which I hear is good. But the run I've read that's really fantastic and really good, and you would like it because it's like late 80s, but it's when Grant Morrison was starting, and why Grant Morrison is a big success as he is today is primarily because he wrote Animal Man for a number of years in the 80s, and then he did the Arkham Asylum book. But pretty much, Animal Man is like his beginnings. And it's good Grant Morrison because I love Grant Morrison. But with Grant, it's basically he got more experimental as he got older, and he gets into sort of like a ethereal plane type deal a lot of the time in like his newer writings. But like Grant Morrison in the 80s was just trying to write a good story, period. Like he was just trying to work. He does still kind of go into like that, like there's a higher level of existence type deal with Animal Man because he really gets way more into the powers. But overall, that run is amazing. Read Animal Man by Grant Morrison; it's really good. But yeah, what I meant.
I'll just switch off. I'll let you borrow Fables one day, and I'll borrow an Animal.
All right, man, that sounds good. But yeah, I think we can do that. Okay. Anyway, I'll check out Supergirl, I guess, at some point down the line.
What do you want me to check out? We're gonna try to trade off.
I don't know. You're
Well,
pretty much on the same
you're
page.
into Jessica Jones right now. I haven't seen Jessica
Yeah,
Jones.
not to plug Marvel in a mostly DC podcast, but I'm watching Jessica Jones right now. But I will do a separate podcast with me and Cage talking about that because he knows next to nothing about Jessica Jones because she's still. I mean, as far as Marvel goes, she's primarily more of a newer type character, but like. We'll go all over the show because I love the show so far. It's great, and yeah, definitely watch Jessica Jones if you get a chance to.
Yes, I will.
But yeah, anything DC related is pretty good. I mean, Gotham I haven't checked out at all, and Supergirl
I've seen a few episodes of Gotham. And,
yeah, I've heard it's okay.
One
But
guy that was one of the prisoners I actually opened for him at Iron Furnace.
Oh, that's cool.
Like 5 months ago.
All right, man. Sorry, it's like it's almost 11 o'clock. I'm a little tired, but sorry.
Yeah.
But no, that's awesome, dude. Yeah, Gotham's all over the place, but I've heard it's fun. And again, Supergirl, I haven't watched anything of. So, anyway, if you get a chance, folks out there, definitely keep watching Flash. If you get a chance, watch it now. Arrow's a good show too, just not as good, but still pretty solid. Overall, retrospective, I feel is really good, and I don't know what I'll say. It's just DC and Marvel are both hitting it out of the park these days, for the most part. Yeah, that's the best way to put it. Would you agree?
With what?
Just DC. Are you listening? I don't know. DC and Marvel hitting it out of the park.
Sorry, my belt was stabbing into me.
Okay, that's just you had to get up and adjust. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
DC and Marvel are doing pretty good stuff for the most part.
Oh
Right?
yeah, absolutely. Right now, as far as like fan favor, I would say like and what's that term that you're talking about with Lego Batman 3, like they do a lot of
fan service.
Yeah, fan service.
Yeah.
Like DC's doing more fan service than ever.
Yeah, for sure. Pretty much just like yeah. You know what? Best things we can recommend is Jessica Jones and Flash and Daredevil as far as television is concerned, and because just like hitting off on all cylinders. Movies right now, Marvel are hitting it out of the park, but DC's on their way to making like the best stuff ever. Batman vs Superman, can't wait for that. People know that who listen to this pretty much, but yeah. Anyway, retrospective I feel is good. Can't wait for anything. Just like the next thing is great. I want to catch up on everything. So yeah. All right. Is that it? Yeah.
Yep, that's it.
All right, man. AJ, thank you for coming in and doing this podcast with me, man. It's always a pleasure talking to you about comics and just in general, not even just DC. So, all right, everybody. Have a good night. Thanks again.